Today we are in gorgeous Chapel Hill, North Carolina, an absolutely perfect early fall afternoon where the North Carolina Tar Heels are going out of conference to take on the Richmond Spiders, now in the Patriot League. And Bill Belichick might have 8 Super Bowl rings, but he doesn't have one thing. That's a whole win as a college head coach, but he's looking for that today after the team got a win last week on the road in Charlotte. Hi, everybody. Alongside Max Brown, I'm Chris Cotter. 2 games under his belt for Bill Belichick right now. And when we talked to him earlier this week, he got the sense that it's all about incremental improvement week over week, isn't it?
Yeah, he's searching for his first home win and searching for the identity of this team, too. I mean, obviously the blowout loss week 1 versus TCU, solid bounce back last week versus Charlotte. But this is the last opponent before you get into to Power 4 play. So they got to take advantage of this opportunity and hopefully get Bill his first home win.
70 new players on this team for North Carolina. One of them is Gio Lopez. He's a quarterback transfer from South Alabama.
Yeah, the redshirt sophomore coming in. And I think one thing that goes underappreciated is just the difficulty of learning an offense in only a few months. He got here in May. That's a tall task with no spring ball. So no preseason games in the college ranks. That's a big difference, obviously, from the NFL. So it's straight into the action. I'd expect a big jump from him this week and the weeks moving forward, but you can see the talent flash right away. The mobility is the big thing I think they're looking to unlock, and it's a big reason why he's their guy and not Max Johnson, the backup that college football fans know awfully well. Well,
speaking of a big thing, there's one right there. Kyle Wickersham, kind of bringing back memories of the hefty lefty. I'm going to call him the mighty righty at 6'4", 260 pounds, Richmond's quarterback.
The dude's a load, thrown for 250 yards so far this season, over 100 yards rushing, and has carried the rock 32 times through 2 games. Not your traditional dual threat guy, but he can consistently get you 3 and 4 yards, and it's a Russ Huesman roster that's inexperienced. They're grateful to have a 5th-year starter senior quarterback.
Well, Russ Huesman is in his 9th season as the head coach for Richmond, and he has built this team into one of the top FCS programs. 3 straight playoff appearances, 2 straight conference championships in the Colonial. Now they're part of the Patriot, and it's a series history that goes back a little ways, although they haven't played since 1978. Richmond won that game back in 1978. That was Dick Crum's first season as the head coach at North Carolina, and you know what Dick Crum did in the following 10 years. So it's an inauspicious beginning for him, but he turned things around rather quickly. Gorgeous day today. The Heel fans are massing inside of Kenan Memorial Stadium here in Chapel Hill. North Carolina won the toss. They'll defer, so Richmond will receive to start this game. Just to recap for Carolina, you mentioned it in the opening, fell to TCU here in their opener, then went down to Charlotte, was able to get a W in Charlotte, 20-3 last week.
Defense played well, obviously gave up over 40 versus TCU. Respond, just giving up 3 a week ago. This Richmond team lost to Lehigh week 1, responded with a come-from-behind win last week versus Wofford.
Reese Fairhoff kicks off, and Isaiah Dawson just watches it sail over his head. The 3rd member of our crew today, Kendra Douglas, is standing by on the field.
Well, guys, UNC defense players were telling me that they are going to be prepared for whatever quarterback Kyle Wickersham is going to throw their way. When I caught up with defensive back Caleb Goss, he told me that for them, it's about doing the little things. He said this group has worked hard all summer to be prepared for every single moment. And when something small goes wrong, it looks like a big mistake on the field. So against the Spiders, the message for this defense is simple. Do the little things right.
Kyle Wickersham, that's a big thing, and bringing him down now in the gun. And he'll hand it off to Jamal Brown. Richmond trying to move the pile, picks up about 3.
Such a big factor with these games when you're coming up to play Power 4 opponents is starting fast, and the way they're going to do that is Kyle Wickersham. We talked about in the open, his legs are a huge factor. Ran 16 times a week ago, and it's not one of those things where, hey, it's Lamar Jackson out in space. It's almost like he's another fullback back there.
More like Mike Allstott out in space.
You're going to run out of fullback references today.
I will use all of them. As you know, I love the fullback.
I do think the key, though, we saw last week, we had the Troy versus Clemson game. Finding a way to get the quick passing game early is key.
Again, Brown trying that left side. This time the Carolina defense bows their necks. No gain. It'll bring up third down. Leroy Jackson and Smith-Filbert in on the tackle.
Talked so much about the turnover of this Carolina roster. 5 of their 6 box players are transfers. Say Leroy Jackson right there stuffing it up, but look at all the baby blue jerseys getting in there.
This is a good look at Filbert, the transfer from Penn State. All but a couple of players on this North Carolina defense today will be first-year players, many of whom transferred in.
This is a Richmond attack without Sean Clark, their go-to tight end, and Jaden Fair, one of their leading receivers.
Third down and 7. Wickersham to throw. Hits his receiver. That's right near the marker. Vini made the catch, defended by Marcus Allen. He's going to be about a yard shy.
Vini's one of those guys that they need to step up with. Jaden Fair and Sean Clark out. Nice job by Wickersham on the little slant route, getting the ball to his hands quickly.
Russ Houston screaming out orders to his team.
Have to imagine he's getting on him about the mark. Didn't like the spot. That's the kind of play call you call, expecting if you catch that you'll get the first down. Obviously coming up short.
37, Ned Gray back to punt.
Will Hardy to return this punt. Ned Gray, the true freshman, will put his left foot into it high and short. Hardy's going to have to come up and call for a fair catch. And in traffic, makes it at his own 33 after a 33-yard punt. And now Gio Lopez, the transfer from South Alabama, will make his way into the heels.
He's still getting used to this offensive scheme. I mean, came in after spring ball. It's usually a luxury for transfer quarterbacks to get those 15 practices and get acclimated to this offense. Was banged up week 1 in that TCU game. Had to leave that. Max Johnson came in, but each of these game reps and this game experience, big for him getting to learn this Freddie Kitchens, his offensive coordinator of this system.
And the handoff right up the middle for a quick 10 yards. They'll march it off at 9. And that time it was Damon June on the carry. Carolina's had a lot of success on their first drives, as you can see in their first 2 games. It's after that where they've had the issues offensively.
That's been the story of the season so far. Only 4 touchdowns this year, 2 of which have come on opening drives. So whatever offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens is doing with that first 15 is working out. Carolina fans are just hoping they can extend that throughout the whole game.
Lopez rolling the pocket. Just too far in front of his receiver, Chris Culliver. He'll bring up third down in a yard.
Yeah, you see the rollout left, which is a common scheme with a left-handed quarterback. Momentum going that way, gets spun around a little bit there, so credit the pressure from Richmond. But that's an open receiver and a missed opportunity. They wanted to make this an emphasis in this game, trying to find ways to unlock Gio Lopez's legs. One way to do that is get him outside the pocket where he either has open receivers or can tuck it and run.
Now he's under center. On the end around, that's Goss. That's June, check it, inside the 30, inside the 20, and down to the 7. The freshman Damon June, they call him Juju. 52 yards for Juju on that carry.
This is a nice job on the jet sweep. You have the defensive end tucked down, Camden Bird, number 6. That gives you all the leverage you need offensively. Damon June, the true freshman, getting the edge in a hurry. Can see the explosiveness right there, and this North Carolina offense has had a hard time coming up with big plays so far through 2 games. That's a good sign early.
Again, Lopez under center. Juju. This time stumbling, bumbling forward. Nothing much on that carry. Peyton Sealman, linebacker, on the stop. Richmond without Carter Glassmeyer, one of their team captains, starting linebacker. So you talked about some of the pieces they're missing offensively. They're without Glassmeyer, and they're without one of their starting corners, D'Angelo Stocker, as well.
That was a really nice play by Peyton Sealman. They'll need him to step up and carry the load even more so than he already does. Great job there, knifing under and getting the legs of the running back.
Caleb Hood now in the game. Goes out in the pattern. Lopez looking in the end zone, has time. Overshoots his tight end, Jake Johnson.
Incomplete. Intended for 19, Jake Johnson.
They'll bring up third down.
Just missed him. Saw the over route, missed him early on in this game, and then right there, it's good patience. Trying to get Jake Johnson, more the athletic tight end. You can see early on they're trying to address areas that have been weak so far in terms of getting Gio outside the pocket, trying to get the tight end to look. Going into this game, tight ends only had 1 catch for 2 yards. It was a touchdown, but trying to activate that position group as well.
Lopez to throw. Steps up. He'll be dropped. Gets to the line of scrimmage, but not much more. Daniel Sellers from his defensive end spot making the tackle, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, the pocket just collapsed on Gio Lopez. Daniel Sellers, the left defensive end there, good job controlling his gap and then leaking in when Gio Lopez tucked the football. This is a defensive line for Richmond. They feel like it's a strong group for their level of football. Had 3 guys dealing with ACL injuries last year. All 3 are back this year.
Reese Fairhoff puts the heels on the board with a 27-yard field goal. So another first drive score for North Carolina. They're up early on Richmond, 3-zip. First drive of the day, yielding 3 points. You see they've scored on all 3 of their opening drives in all 3 games so far this year. Offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens, you can see him there through the tinting of the window. He's obviously scripted out some pretty good plays. They're working.
Yeah, he's looking at that first 15 to see what other gems he has. First 15, oftentimes offensive coordinators will script out their first 15 plays they want to get to, knowing what looks they're likely going to get against the defense. And so far through 3 games for North Carolina, it's worked out.
Dawson will again watch this one sail over his head. We talked about Richmond and how much success Coach Russ Huseman has had with this team. Really, as a program, they've had a lot of success. Huseman was a defensive coordinator in 2008 when they won the FCS National Championship. But look at the playoff appearances. This is a program that's one of the strongest year in and year out consistently in FCS play.
And so much is made in college football about roster turnover, transfer portal, coaches coming in and out. I mean, so often when we're in coaches meetings throughout the week, it's a new coordinator, a guy moving around. To be there for 9 straight years, I mean, you look at how much college football has changed since 2016. To be able to be a rock for your program, I think speaks to the consistency that the Spiders have had.
Wickersham's going to keep it. Finds maybe 3 yards before DeAndre Robinson drops him. Testing the middle of this North Carolina defense here early.
Yeah, and it's a defensive line who, they're big. Guys they like in the portal. Only 1 tackle for loss from that front 4 defensive line. That's certainly an area of this game they want to impact more, be on the other side of the line of scrimmage, because that's one way that Richmond can lull you to sleep a little bit. 3- and 4-yard gains of play.
Big ol' Isaiah Johnson from Arizona. You look at the defense and some of these guys they got. They got guys from Arizona, Penn State, Florida. Big time programs. Wickersham to throw. Steps up in the pocket as it collapses, then he'll be dropped. Melkart Abujude with the tackle. 4-yard loss on the sack. Abujude came from Delaware. The Hens.
He's taking advantage of a matchup on Ronald Anderson, that left tackle for Richmond. That's an area of concern for this defense, but what a play by Abujude, taking advantage of his moment. There was no sacks by the front 4 defensive linemen from North Carolina coming into this game. There was only 1 on the season, Andrew Simpson at the linebacker spot. So breaking the curse there up front for the Tar Heels.
3rd down and a long 10 is not where you want to be if you're Richmond in this game. And
timeout, Richmond. They're first of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
Kyle Wickersham didn't like what he saw. Wanted to call a timeout and talk things over. Week 3 on the ACC Network continues tonight. We got 2 more games. First at 7 o'clock, Virginia Tech hosting Old Dominion. That's a big-time rivalry game for Old Dominion, coming across state out west in Blacksburg, followed by the trip to, speaking of going out west, Boston College going all the way out to Palo Alto, taking on Stanford. Both games also available on the ESPN app, as you know.
Yeah, Virginia Tech started well last week, and then the second half, Vandy pulled away. Stanford been a struggle so far this year. Let's see if they can find some offense in week 3.
Boston College has had no issues finding offense. Tough loss last week to Michigan State, but Lonergan's been a heck of a quarterback for them. O'Brien pulling all the strings. 3rd down and long. Wickersham to throw. Pocket again collapses, and he'll be sacked 2 plays in a row. Abujude again, breaking the seal big time for this D-line.
And it's really a team sack right here. The pocket just collapsing on Kyle Wickersham. I said it to start the drive. Going in, it's a defense that only had 1 sack on the year. They double that count in 1 drive.
Hardy back to return this punt, standing at his own 38. Pressure comes up the middle. Gray's able to get rid of it, though. It's a pretty good punt. Fair catch at the 38 there from Hardy, and that's where North Carolina will start from. Absolutely beautiful day here in Chapel Hill. Bill Belichick, first year as the top dog here in Chapel Hill. Take a look at what some of other first-year coaches did in their first season. Dick Crum, we talked about how his North Carolina team lost to Richmond in his opening season. Of course, a couple of years later, he won the ACC title. Mack Brown came in 1-10. He had a couple of pretty lousy years in his first couple of years, but then he built this team into one of the powerful teams in the ACC in the 90s. John Bunning, our friend Butch Davis, coming in, and Larry Fedora actually had them playing pretty well early on in his first couple of years. It was 84 in 2012.
Man, the Mack Brown one sticks out. Only one win.
Yeah, they were not very good his first couple of years, but they got good.
He got right
in a hurry. Goss in the backfield. Cuts it back inside. Give him a couple. You know about Bill Belichick and what he's done at the NFL level. Of course, was an assistant with the Giants. Bill Parcells won a couple of Super Bowls as DC there. 6 as the head coach with the Patriots. Goss again. Another couple of yards. 3rd down and about 6.
Back to Bill real quick, too. I think it is very important that he, capitalizes on the positive buzz of the offseason. Obviously, week 1 didn't go according to plan, but in terms of attracting talent to this program, recruiting out of the high school ranks, getting guys out of the portal, I do think it is important that you're taking advantage of this season. I mean, we'll see if they contend for a championship. They got a long way to go to do that. But in terms of getting out of this season, keeping that buzz, keeping that hype, and then capitalize it from a recruiting standpoint next year.
Lopez to throw, bounces it back outside. Takes a hit, reaches the ball forward, but won't be close to the first down marker. Good defensive stand by Richmond.
It's a good job flying around. Yeah, they're glad. Donovan Hoylett, number 8, their defensive end, starts on the right-hand side, and he's rushing the quarterback all the way there. He doesn't decide to wrap up. Tries to lay a blow to the starting quarterback. He's a guy that had a torn ACL a year ago. They're excited to have him back, and another one of those 3-and-outs for this North Carolina offense. Hasn't happened so far this game, but during the first 2 games, they came up a lot.
Tom McGinnis to punt it away. So many new players on this North Carolina team. He's returning the punter. Flags down.
Offside. Defense number 41 in the neutral zone, causing the offense to react. It's a 5-yard penalty, results in a first down.
Well, in our conversation with Coach Russ Huesman this week, he said one of the 3 things you absolutely have to do to spring an upset like this is don't make mistakes on special teams.
And how many games of Bill Belichick's have we watched over the years where he capitalizes on a special team scenario to capture momentum and put his team over the hump, and the way that the sideline was celebrating with the long snapper, as you're seeing Russ Huesman being irate. But North Carolina was celebrating. There must have been a gimmick, hard count trying to draw the offsides.
Lopez to throw over the middle, hits his receiver. That ship, sophomore out of Charlotte, North Carolina, with the catch.
One of the rare guys. Yeah, one of the rare carryover guys from Mack Brown's staff. Bill Belichick was able to hold on to their star receiver.
June takes the handoff. Pushes the pile, showing his power as a true freshman. It's about 7.5.
Yeah, one thing we've realized so far through this game is the running back they're going to lean on. They're also going to lean on Jordan Shipp. Easy completion, trying to get the ball to the hands of Gio Lopez quickly.
June steps outside. Dropped just shy of the yard to gain. 3rd and a short one.
Heading into this game, North Carolina has played 5 running backs. It's one thing to have running back by committee and have a stable. That's an absolute herd. I think after this game, they want to condense that down. And so far through these 3 drives, they're going with the true freshman, Damon June, really leaning on him. He got no carries week 1, 9 carries last week for 52 yards.
Yeah, that led the way last week, those 9 carries. He's picking up where he left off. Lopez under center, Shipp in motion. They call him Juju, and he moves the sticks.
They also called him more of the downhill guy, but to me, I notice a little bit more burst out of him. And that's always the concern when you have a young running back is, you know, how do they acclimate to the playbook and pass protection and whatnot. But if you can get him up to speed in a hurry, running back is one of those positions that can have an impact on an offense as a true freshman. Offensive line, tight end, those positions are much harder. Quarterback, obviously, as well.
Lopez to throw. Got all kinds of time over the middle. The receiver wide open. Ship on the catch and into the end zone.
Two easy completions to Jordan Ship right there. They take advantage of a blown coverage. You're going to see Ship, little switch release. Linebacker miscommunicates with the safety. No one goes on Ship. Nice catch going up for the rock, utilizing the stiff arm with the left hand. Gets into the end zone for 6.
Verhoff with the PAT. Carolina used the penalty on special teams to keep possession. And a handful of plays later, Lopez hitting a wide open Jordan Ship. 10-0 Heels. Back in Chapel Hill, Hills up 10 early. Jordan Ship with a 29-yard touchdown reception from Gio Lopez. Drive that was extended by a Richmond penalty and lining up to return a punt. Isaiah Dawson got a chance here and does, a yard deep into his own end zone. Leveled at the 17. Good play on special teams by the Heels. Fading back to that score.
Yeah, they're going to get 2 vertical receivers on the bottom of your screen up on that one high safety and then take the middle field of the grass. This is a tough job on Lee Bruner, the safety right there. You got 1 Spider defender against 2 Tar Heel receivers. They take that green grass, and that's as easy as it gets. A miscommunication there and taking advantage of a defensive scheme there. Nice job by the Tar Heels.
Ship, pretty high-level recruit, 4 stars. Out of Providence Day School in Charlotte. Got some playing time last year as a true freshman. Now a lot more expected of him as part of a receiving corps that brings back quite a few players. One of the few position groups that does. Wickersham now trying to answer. Gets his running back out of the backfield, almost lost it, but Andrew King was able to hold on. It was allowed 2 yards. Leroy Jackson coming back from his defensive tackle spot to make the tackle.
They're teeing up the screen pass, trying to get their quarterback an easy throw and get some momentum there. It's a nice pursuit by the Tar Heel defense, led by middle linebacker Andrew Simpson. Defensive lineman Leroy Jackson there as well. So far, this front 7 for North Carolina has been active.
How do we counter that if we're Richmond?
You got to complete some easy passes on the outside. Screen passes work if that defensive line's getting uphill and you can get past them. I think this defensive line's playing patient there. Test the outside and then work the screen passes once you get some other passes in the hands of your receivers.
Wickersham quickly ball batted up in the air and falls incomplete. Thaddeus Dixon, transfer from Washington, breaking it up.
Yeah, one of the 2 defensive transfers that came with defensive coordinator Steve Belichick, who was defensive coordinator at Washington last year. It's good pursuit on the ball. I mean, look at that. Only 5 yards allowed. They've been great rushing the passer, great in the secondary, stopping the run as well. Wickersham's legs haven't gotten involved. We know going into this game, Richmond was down playmakers out wide. They're going to have to make some of those contested catches if they're going to stay in this game.
He has bring just 4 Wickersham. He's a receiver. He's got to make a lot of people miss, though, if he wants to get the first down and won't even get close. Aiden Steinfeld, the tight end, is filling in for Sean Clark, who's injured in this game. Trey Miller, back from injury himself for North Carolina, making the stop.
That right there was the big jump for the Carolina defense last week. Week 1, you had 19 missed tackles. Last week, you had just 7. You see that across college football. Once you get one real-life game under your belt, you start improving that tackling in open space. It's a nice job by that defense.
Fake. Didn't get it. Got close, but didn't quite get there. Boy, both of these coaches were very prophetic as Owen Laughlin just comes up a yard short. Both of them saying special teams are going to be huge in this game, and we've seen it already.
Again, that's what Coach Belichick's hung his hat on for his entire coaching career. Win the special teams battle. And right there, I mean, they get a little bit of a push. You get 4 yards, but you needed more than that. It's great field awareness by that punt return unit. Knowing team coming on the road, looking for a spark, haven't done anything offensively. You're seeing their head coach, Russ Huseman, checking the iPad. Knew as of last year in college football, he's trying to decide what happened on that front for why that fake did not work out. Oftentimes when coaches call a fake punt, it's because they're seeing something on film the whole week that they're trying to exploit.
Lopez trying to take advantage quickly. Looking to the end zone, throws up short and hits his underneath. Van Culliver, 15 yards on the pitch and catch.
He missed this throw on the first drive. Nice job coming back here, getting downhill. It's so key as a quarterback. Get your momentum downhill. It's easier to throw an accurate pass that way rather than drifting towards the sideline. Again, with left-handed quarterbacks, you'll oftentimes see them roll to their left rather than their right.
Lopez is going to keep it. Turns it inside the 5.
You're going to see offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens pick his spots when you're choosing to do design quarterback runs for Gio Lopez. That might have been more of a zone read with a blocker coming back. Gio's not as big as Kyle Wickersham across the ball at Richmond, but he's very, very elusive where, you know, his legs certainly need to be a part of this offensive attack. Seeing Freddie Kitchens right there for the glass.
They was trying to get downhill, but Matei Fitz put a stop to that. That may be the last play of this first quarter. And it looks like the Heels are content to let the clock run down. Switch sides. And we'll have a 3rd down and 4 to go when we come back. Good start for the Heels, up 10 after 1 here in Chapel Hill.
Keenan Stadium with head coach Russ Huesman. Coach, you look pretty frustrated on that 4th down. Just tell me what happened there and what broke down.
Illegal snap. No question about it. I just told the officials what it was, and yeah, that was an illegal snap that was not called. It's absolutely ridiculous. An ACC officiating crew can't get that call right.
What do you want to see from your special teams in this game, then?
Well, we took a shot back here on the fake punt. We almost didn't quite get it. They had a backside guy come in and make a play. You know, that's on me. I took the chance to do that. You know, I took the chance over here on their punt. So it's all on me. I think our defense is playing really hard.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kendra. Coach, North Carolina starts his 2nd quarter with a 3rd and goal. Lopez looking to throw. Has time as a receiver just couldn't hit his man. It looked like it was Kobe Pesor, receiver.
There's good patience by Pesor with this route. He's getting tugged. It's a missed pass interference call right there by the refs too. I've been here. Sometimes, you know, receivers wide open. Just got to put it on him. It's a good job by Pesor fighting through that contact and getting open. Was patient on that route, but it's been a couple of those throws that are just outside the frame of his receivers.
Reese Fairhoff comes in, nailed a field goal in the 1st. quarter. Picks one up here in the second. Tar Heels increase their advantage to 13.
Richmond defense, it's 2 drives. They have buckled down and held Bill Belichick and this Carolina offense to field goals instead of touchdowns after nice drives. Offensively, though, Russ Huesman and that group's got to get something going. Only 12 yards of total offense through 1 quarter compared to North Carolina's 136.
Next Wednesday night, the ACC Network has a women's soccer matchup, a pair of ranked teams. Number 7 Florida State comes here to Chapel Hill to face 19th North Carolina over Dorrance Field. That's right around the corner from us. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock Eastern. Can always be seen on the new ESPN app as well. Absolutely perfect day. Not really all that hot here in Chapel Hill today. Great day for everyone to come out. Keenan Stadium.
Or overalls have been a theme in the games that we're calling. Got a few of those shots from the student section. I guess got to take advantage of the good weather in September.
Fairhoff's kicks well into the end zone for much of the day today. North Carolina once again scored on their opening possession in this game. That was one of the 2 Fairhoff field goals. Then Jordan Shipp with a nice 29-yard catch. They've done it in all 3 phases, though, haven't they? Offensively, defensively, and they've definitely won special teams. Yeah,
they've shut down Kyle Wickersham in this offense. Haven't been able to get the pass game going or his legs going. Said this in the first drive, but I think they got to find a way to unlock a few easy completions on the outside lanes. Can't just totally rely on running in between the tackles against this Carolina defense.
There was nothing to in that time.
It's a nice job by Smith Vilbert to be the defensive end spot and have the awareness of the receiver coming from the other side of the field. That's a great job of understanding the game plan. Richmond probably got to that jet sweep out of the gun action half dozen times, if not more, last week. It's a good job knowing your opponent by Vilbert.
Behind the chains once again, they'll be further back this time. Wickersham can't handle the snap, and it's going to be 3rd and a mile.
No, going into this game, there was, you got JT Sowell there at center, I believe. Sowell, this is his first game back this season, so a new center there. That would mean Trey Gray, the 3rd, would move to right guard. Got 62 next to 72, but yeah, I believe that's Sowell, who's been out the first 2 weeks at center, getting acclimated to a position he's played before, but obviously first real life action of the season.
3rd and 24 from their own 11. Less than ideal. Aziz Foster Powell, he can't get anything. Richmond's going to have to punt from their own end zone. Tyler Thompson on the tackle. One of the things in talking to this entire coaching staff really for North Carolina that we did yesterday, we talked with them a lot about what do you guys bring from the NFL to the college game and this and that. I got the sense, and Bill Belichick and the others we're working on building a base of fundamentals first. We'll worry about esoteric blitz packages later. Right now, it's kind of like, let's block and tackle. And once we get that completely down, then we'll start to worry about some other things.
My biggest takeaway was that, hey, the X's and O's is not that much different than the NFL big picture. The difference is the kicking game, ironically enough, as we see this punt return here.
Being won by North Carolina, no question about that today. Hardy with a nice return. Well into Richmond territory. The Heels on offense when we come back, already up 13 here in Chapel Hill. when Bill Belichick arrived here in Chapel Hill, he had to start building this team from scratch. 70 new players, the most in the entire ACC on this team. 30 freshmen and 40 transfers.
Couldn't do that 6 years ago. Welcome to the transfer portal era. On one side, it's a benefit because you're able to get in the guys that you want. But in terms of building a culture, and many of those 70 guys weren't even there for spring ball. So a lot of the things that you're having to do in fall camp, you're having to repeat of what you did in spring ball, which is different from a lot of programs around the country.
Lopez, the fake to Goss, has a man downfield. Defender got there just in time. I don't know whether he got a piece of it or not, but Lee Bruner was able to recover from his safety spot. Just disrupted at the very last second.
Yeah, they're going to go with the double move, a little dig and go in route. Javarius Green, double move, trying to bait the safety, Jordan Allen there. Jordan Allen's lucky his other safety buddy, Lee Bruner, came in playing center field. I thought that ball hung up there a little too long. You know, you had Javarius Green win right away. Throw that on a line. Don't allow the other safety, Lee Bruner, from the other side of the field to get involved.
Bruner probably could have picked it. Couldn't squeeze it. Lopez gets a reprieve. 2nd down and 10. Quickly out to his tight end. That's Jake Johnson. Makes the catch. 13 yards. They'll move the sticks.
Jake Johnson had that touchdown catch week 1 versus TCU. 2nd catch of the year. Only the 2nd catch for the tight end room all season. Gio's done a nice job with some of those hitch routes, getting the ball to his hands quickly.
Lopez to throw again. Steps up, can run if he chooses to. Instead, he goes to the end zone for a hood. His tailback couldn't bring it in with one hand. You think about Lopez's decision not to run. It looked like he had a lot of green grass in front of him in the middle of the field.
Without a doubt, and that's going to be the coaching point on Monday when they watch the film. It's the fine line, right? You want Gio to win from the pocket and be a pocket passer, but he had some room down the middle of the field to run. Got a one-on-one matchup with Caleb Hood, the 5th-year senior running back. That's maybe a play that a receiver can reach out and try to make. It's a tough catch for a running back.
Lopez again to throw, pocket collapsing, gets it out to his tailback, Jew. Inside the 15, down to about the 6. Camden Bird had to chase him down, but he'll be 1st and goal. We got a marker down in the backfield.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 22. The penalty's enforced half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
Move half the distance closer.
Nice job by Lopez baiting him in. It's not a late hit, it's going straight to the head, I believe. Yep, can't go to the face area for the quarterback or else you're going to get flagged for that.
Freshman Geronimi flagged for it. There's Geronimi. 1st and goal now from the 3.
2 critical penalties so far this game. Richmond, a team that in their conference, one of the least penalized teams historically. So far, it's been a weakness through 3 games.
High formation. Gauze had to sidestep a tackler. Maybe bullies forward for a yard. Defensive coordinator Justin Wood trying to figure things out right now. He's been on his heels for much of this game.
He's been on Huseman's staff for a very long time, promoted up the ranks. Defensive coordinator for many years. A lot of turnover for his unit in the transfer portal. A lot of teams have to deal with it, but he very much so, especially in that secondary.
Like I said, this is the youngest team he's ever had in the 6 years as a DC in terms of number of career starts. Inexperienced teams. There's Peyton Seelman. He's going to have to make a big play here. Again with the fullback. Goss sidesteps a tackler to the goal line. Won't get in. They'll mark him just shy. This looks a lot like the NFL here. Under center, fullback right behind you, and a tailback.
That looks like the days when Bill was coaching with the Giants, not even the Patriots. It's old school. You got a fullback on the field. That's 2 plays that easily could have been negative yards. You know, those defensive linemen were in the backfield right away. Credit Goss for making the first man miss and having those be positive runs. Missed opportunities for Richmond.
Going with it again with Hood at the fullback spot. This time they'll try to push Lopez in. Still no signal from the officials yet. Now it's a touchdown.
little old school. I formation back-to-back plays and then finish the deal with a little quarterback sneak. Running right behind that big right side of the offensive line.
Fairhoff with the PAT. I formation. It's not the push, it's the Goss toss. Right there, pushing his quarterback into the end zone. .01 left to go in this first half. Heels blanking the Spiders. ESPN supports the College Football Playoff Foundation's Extra Yard for Teachers Week each year to celebrate great teachers across the country who've inspired so many of us. Nominate a great teacher in your community by visiting cfpfoundation.org. Going to talk more about this in this game. Let's send you down to Kenner Douglas.
Well, I talked with quarterback Gio Lopez, asking him who his favorite teacher is, someone who made an impact on her. He said, I have so many, but if I had to choose one, it's my mom. His mom, Dee, was a former elementary school teacher, so you can't go wrong with choosing your mom as your teacher, guys. You
can't go wrong with it, and you really can't choose anybody else.
He would have been in trouble if he went a different direction.
A lot of great teachers, but there's one that stands above all else.
Also, though, if he went to a different teacher, that teacher must be really legit.
Really legit. Gio's numbers so far today at Madison, Alabama, the high school, James Clemens High School. Began his college career at South Alabama before transferring here in the offseason.
Yeah, 5 for 10. Maybe not as efficient as you'd want, but at least this is the most wide open the passing game's been through 3 weeks. I mean, the first 2 weeks it was more dink and dunk and hard to really push the ball down the field. You can tell there's been a conscious effort to open up the intermediate passing game, press the ball down the field.
Another good play on special teams has Richmond starting from a hole inside their own 20 once again. Kyle Wickersham and company have not been able to get anything going offensively. North Carolina's had a great push, putting pressure on Wickersham, using just 4 down linemen. Now he's trying to go downfield. It's almost intercepted. Covered beautifully on the play by Marcus Allen.
This is textbook coverage. So we're seeing backup quarterback in there on that throw, but this is textbook coverage. Pressing the receiver all the way to the sideline, trying to high point it. I mean, missed interception right there. He's going to want that one back, but at 6'2", 190, utilizing that frame.
Yeah, Ashton Snellsire is in the game now for Richmond. Wickersham had a hard time moving them down the field, so they're going to give Snellshire an opportunity.
And I knew coming into the game they had at least some package plays for him at times, but have to think with the offense struggling, maybe he gets this whole drive and see if he can light a spark on this offense.
He was able to pick up 5 there before Isaiah Johnson brought him down.
Snellshire's a guy who started games for them during his time in Richmond. Kyle Wickersham's had injuries over the past couple of years, so Snellshire's a guy that they think is really smart. They trust him. He's won a game versus Stony Brook. They feel like they have 2 good quarterbacks they can get to. 3rd and 5, the big question for him is, can he unlock this passing attack? We've seen very little completions to these receivers. Can they find a way to get something on the outside lanes, outside of the field, and stretch this defense?
Dawson's in motion. Snellshire will pass. Trying to get it to Dawson. It's intercepted. Flags all over the field. Picked off. Cost. Still on his feet inside the 10, and more flags come in. Every flag in this stadium is now on the field. And our referee, John Noley's going to have to sort this one out with his entire crew because they've used up all their laundry. We definitely have one on the return, and then we have one right at the point of attack where Caleb Koss made the pick.
There are 2 fouls on the defense. Pass interference, number 21. That penalty is declined. Personal foul. Blindside block. Blindside block. Defense.
Well, you can't decline the pass interference. Is there a turnover on downs? Because this is after the turnover on downs. I think they would have to accept the pass interference. I might be wrong on that.
That right there, what we saw is the pass interference. Caleb Koss was physical the whole way. I almost thought it was such good coverage. He was all over him and obviously held him too much. I didn't see in that like the blindside block.
Yeah, the block is irrelevant. They accept the pass interference penalty so they can retain possession, which is what they did. First down of the game for Richmond. So Coach Huseman knows, all right, we've broken that seal now. At least we can move the chains, even if it's by penalty.
They want to do it their own way, but they'll take it however they can get it.
At this point. Now Jamal Brown in the backfield. He'll take the handoff. And that's a good, powerful run. Great individual effort with help from his line, picking up 8.
That's a unique formation there. They have Jamal Brown 7, who's the backup running back. Aziz Foster Powell, the starting running back, was also in the game at more of an H-back, up-back look. Allows Richmond to do different wrinkles in the run game. Shift and motion those guys around, try to confuse the defense, and try to get an angle that you'd like to attack if you're this Richmond offense.
Once again, right? Move Brown back into the backfield. Fake it to him. Snellshire keeps it. First down, number 2 on the day.
Up the middle.
So the quarterback change is paying immediate dividends, at least to some extent, as they pick up another first down and move the ball close to midfield.
I mean, it's definitely a change of identity too. I mean, Snellshire's more of the pocket guy. Wickersham's much more of the bruiser, his legs being a factor. Right there, you're seeing Snellshire, take advantage of the opportunity with his legs, but he's certainly in there to throw the ball.
Give to Brown. Dancing to try and find a hole. Spins forward. Picks up another 8 yards.
Jackson once again on the tackle.
Jackson on the tackle, but Brown showing a little bit of shake and bake here as well.
Showing the size too. Brown, 210 pounds, low center of gravity, 5'11", able to get forward. Both these backs are big. Foster Powell started the year, the offseason at 235, lost 20 pounds. He's 215. Brown 210 as well.
Brown's going to get a breather. Just about all those 18 yards have come on this drive. Foster Powell now in the backfield. On the end around, that's Andrew King. King makes a couple of moves, picks up the first down, out of bounds at the 39, 6 more yards. This identity, Max, is whatever it is, it's working on this drive for Richmond.
Yeah, this is a play they love. I said it earlier, they got to this probably a dozen times last week. Just another way to try to get your athletes the ball in space. It's basically a toss sweep, but the reason they call it a jet sweep, you're going quicker. Force those defensive ends and linebackers for North Carolina to think and process and not necessarily know where the ball is going to enter.
Powell and Brown again in the game at the same time. Could be a double pass. Nice pickup by Foster Powell just to be able to keep possession. He gets what he can, and that's a couple of yards, but if he doesn't handle that backwards pass, that's as good as a fumble. That's dangerous.
I would be willing to bet Aziz Foster Powell is left-handed if they're running the double pass to this way. This is a right-handed running back. Your momentum would be up the opposite direction, but that's an incredible catch. That could have been a disaster if he doesn't do that. Unique concept. It's a good job by Steve Belichick's defense, especially when you're playing a team like this. You get across the 50. It's hard to just march your way down the field on a 12, 14-play drive, knowing that they're going to try to do something tricky and come up with a big play.
Foster Powell. Good hole on the left side. Burst through it inside the 30. Down to the 27. Kamari House. And those transfers from UW on the tackle. That's 10 more yards.
One game's come through for Richmond this drive. It's been their identity so far this season. It's a nice job by right tackle Kelsey Huntley pulling to the right side. He gets the defensive end on the left side. And nice patience by Foster Powell to set up that run. Kelsey Huntley, that's a long ways to go for a right tackle to run all the way down the left side. It's a good scheme.
Sophomore from Pittsburgh. Springs his tailback for another first down. King in motion. Foster Powell on the carry. Nowhere to go. Just ran into a Carolina blue wall.
That one right there, Richmond went right back to the well. Same exact run concept, except Steve Belichick's middle linebacker, Andrew Simpson, knew it was coming. A nice job there. Bill Belichick's got 2 of his kids on staff. Steve Belichick's the defensive coordinator. You got Brian Belichick's the DB, safeties coach. A lot of family ties throughout the staff.
Both sides of the football. Coach Russ Huseman's son, Jacob Huseman, calling plays for Richmond. And they've worked on this drive. Swing pass out to King. Makes a man miss. Spins his way down to the 15.
And right on cue, Jacob Huseman, their offensive coordinator for Richmond. It's a great call, yet a blitzing linebacker, a blitzing safety to the top of the screen for North Carolina. That gave Richmond numbers to the right side. And Andrew King, they're using all sorts of running backs this drive, all 3. Aziz Foster Powell's been in there. Jamal Brown started the drive, and Andrew King showing what he can do out of the backfield.
Prior to this drive, Richmond hadn't even recorded a first down in this game. Now they're marching down the field. Foster Powell trashes forward for 4.
Johnson with the tackle at the 12.
And they've given their defense a break here too on this drive. This is a long time consuming drive here for Coach Huseman and Richmond.
Yeah, it's a nice job by the offensive line. I mentioned in the offseason Richmond's secondary was hurt by the portal. The offensive line was as well, and Gabriel Carbajal one of their starters from a year ago. He's out, so they've been having to shuffle guys around. Both tackles, we talked about Kelsey Huntley and then Ronald Anderson on the other side, were scout team guys a year ago, so still working to settle into this season.
King in the backfield, kept by the quarterback Snellsire. Inside of the 10. 2-minute timeout here at the half. Coach Huseman and the Spiders putting together a good drive here late. All right, thanks, Kels. Looking forward to it. You and the crew. Georgia Tech remains unbeaten. The Institute with a huge win in Atlanta earlier. This is a big play. Third down. Aziz Foster sidestepped the first tackler, but can't find any room. Falls forward for a couple. Andrew Simpson.
Andrew Simpson, we've called his names a few times. It's a good job by the middle linebacker, triggering right away. Knowing the down and distance, having the field awareness to trigger right away and stop at the line of scrimmage.
Jacob Huseman, the offensive coordinator.
He's got a decision on his hands, too. At least that third down, he's stuck with Ashton Snellsire. That was the type of scenario, 3rd and 5, where maybe Kyle Wickersham and his legs could have been a factor. Add one more into the run game.
Coach Huseman opting to try and put 3 on the board. Jaden Olszewski is able to put it through. Spiders on the board. They get 3. It's 20-3. Heels on top. out of the Wilson Library here on the campus of the University of North Carolina. 20-3 our score. Minute 11 left to go in this first half. Kelsey and the crew's coming up here in a bit. Going to talk about the games that are already in the books, plus a look ahead to these 3 games still coming up here on the ACC network.
Interested to see where Virginia Tech's at. They need to win. And man, Cal's not a team that's got a lot of headlines ACC-wise, but they may have found themselves a quarterback. JKS, that true sophomore, looks awfully special. Pair him with a Justin Wilcox defense. The Bears could make some noise.
Will McManus kicks this one for the touch back to the back of the end zone tonight after BC and Stanford. That's the late game on the ACC network. ACC Huddle final score. Crew will wrap things up the entire day. Highlights, analysis, interviews, players and coaches. They got you covered here on the ACC network. And you can see it on the all-new ESPN app as well. How about that drive by Richmond? 14 plays, 76 yards, 8 minutes and 42 seconds off the game clock.
They did. Got all 3 running backs involved, too. It'll be very interesting to see what both Father Huseman and OC Huseman do moving forward, because their best drive of the day came with Snellsire at quarterback and not Kyle Wickersham.
Lopez, design quarterback draw. He had to change his direction. Almost fought his way through a tackle. Still got 8 yards. Carolina with all 3 timeouts on the board will exhaust one here at the 103 mark.
They've done a nice job with these drives. The problem the first 2 games was 3 and outs. Only happened 1 so far today. Other than that, they've been able to sustain some drives. And it's been a good combination of, you know, attacking the pass plays down the field and then the intermediate stuff opening it as well. Some screen passes, getting the running backs involved. If you're Bill Belichick, you got to like the array of offensive attack that you've been able to get to.
There's Freddie Kitchens, offensive coordinator, former head coach of the Cleveland Browns.
That was real interesting, too. I mean, obviously, both Freddie Kitchens and Bill Belichick have NFL backgrounds, but I've never heard of a coach getting retained from the previous staff, which Freddie Kitchens was on Mac Brown's staff, and then really getting a promotion as well, going from Kitchens was tight ends coach last year to now play caller. It's one thing to get retained. That by itself is unique and rare. And then to also get elevated and become a play caller, which obviously Freddie Kitchens has done at the National Football League and is no stranger to that, but the optics of that were unique.
Good pickup by Lopez on first down. So coming out of the timeout, 2nd down and 2. Lopez to throw. Johnson again, that's been his favorite target, along with Shipp in the first half. They tied in with another catch. And move the sticks closer to midfield.
That's one thing I think Gio Lopez does really well. Those quick decisions, gets the ball to his hands quickly. Honestly reminds me of Dylan Gabriel a little bit back there. Not as big, left-handed, nice, smooth, quick release.
That's a nice pass out to Shipp. First down into Richmond territory.
It's a nice job taking what the defense gives you. 42 seconds. Still got 2 timeouts. If Richmond's going to play soft, keep the safeties and corners high, take those outside comeback throws all day long.
That's a long pass, isn't it, from the near hash mark all the way to the far sideline?
It is, and that's one thing I've noticed with Lopez's first 3 games. The ball does pop off his hands. No shortage of arm strength.
Going to the end zone. He overshoots his receiver as the pressure came up the middle. Defensive back bought a little bit, and Nathan Leacock was wide open, streaking down the field, but the pressure forced the bad pass from Lopez.
Yeah, look, he was battling with C.J. Frazier out there on the outside. Looked like maybe a double move on the outside, trying to do a curl, get the cornerback to bite, and throw it for a touchdown shot. Just missed him.
Carolina still with 2 timeouts on the board, 35 seconds remaining. Richmond brings just 4, but they bring pressure. Lopez needs it at first. Still on his feet, is able to throw it away. Saves a loss and saves Carolina from having to use another timeout.
Yeah, it's excellent pocket movement right there, and Russ Huseman's probably frustrated that they didn't come down with a sack. They had 3 different defensive linemen get chances right there with Cameron Bird. Then at the end, Donovan Hoylett's got a shot as well, but the slippery Gio Lopez gets out.
Usman made the catch, but we didn't see in the video as him spiking the ball in frustration after he made the catch.
One of the nicest dudes on our coach's call, like real warm and whatnot, and you kind of know that when he gets in the game, he's probably a little bit more fiery. Certainly seen that today.
Yes. Big third down here. Lopez steps up. Pressure comes. They got him, and he fumbles the football. Carolina retains possession, but now with it being 4th down, they're in no hurry to call one of those timeouts.
I complimented Gio Lopez's pocket movement last play, but that's poor awareness there. If you're going to step up into the pocket, you got to know that Cameron Bird, defensive end for
Richmond,
barreling down on you. You should feel that as a quarterback. Got to have ball security, and they're lucky that Matei Fitz, defensive tackle number 5, didn't come down with that fumble.
That ball was just hanging there for the longest time. Camden Bird put the hurting on Gio Lopez.
It's a nice job by Bird, too. You exhaust yourself on the snap before, just miss a sack, and you respond the very next play with a big play.
So it's Richmond who calls a timeout now on 4th and long. They're holding to force a North Carolina mistake in special teams here.
Big difference in 12 seconds versus 6 seconds versus 18 seconds. With 12 seconds, you can get 1 completion. And Richmond's got a timeout, so wouldn't be surprised if they try to work the hash marks, get something quick, get down, call the timeout. Give yourself a completion, but they obviously got to get this punt here.
Or not even have anybody returning it and rush 11 to try and block it. With 14 seconds. They're definitely coming for McGinnis. Gets it off quickly. That's going to be a good kick. Catch made by Vini, but he runs out of bounds immediately. Now just 7 seconds left. This to me,
yeah, he can't
take a knee here.
Can't do anything here. Get on to the second half. And the question will be in the second half, what does Richmond do quarterback-wise? Their leader, we've talked about so much in the open throughout the first quarter, Kyle Wickersham, just nothing got going. So you can see both quarterbacks switch out there. They're going to have Wickersham, I would imagine, take the knee. But their best drive came with Snellsire through the air, got something going there. They also got something going formationally, too, with the multiple running backs. See how Carolina's defense responds to that.
Wickersham comes in to take this snap, and presumably to take a knee. And he does just that. Final 7 seconds. We'll tick off the clock here in the first half. Good start for Bill Belichick and the Tar Heels. Put a 20 spot on the board. Richmond responded with a field goal, but it's 20-3 at the break. Kelsey's crew in studio. Take it over.
for the cheering and participant and the members of the UNC Honors Marching Band.
Since 2006, the North Carolina Education Lottery has raised over $11 billion for education.
ACC on ESPN. They don't paint the water towers John Deere green here in Chapel Hill. Carolina blue, and it's all Carolina at the half, 20-3. Tar Heels with the lead over the Richmond Spiders. Max Brown, Chris Cotter with you. Came out firing as they have in their first 2 games of the season. They scored on their opening possession, never looked back.
And the defense came to play. That's the biggest thing for me. Steve Belichick's defensive bunch. I mean, Leroy Jackson led him with 5 tackles. I felt like you really felt that defensive line. And then offensively for the Tar Heels, felt like they got the playmakers involved. Jordan Shipp had a touchdown and 3 receptions, getting the tight end involved as well. So not perfect, but very much a good start for the Tar Heels.
And really utilizing Gio Lopez in the passing game. You know, I felt like it was almost like, let's establish him and get him as comfortable as possible in the passing game as opposed to using the run to set up the pass.
Yeah, 7 for 14. Took the 2 sacks to end the first half, but I think there was a couple throws there that he'd want back, but big picture, you can tell that they're wanting to push the ball down the field with Gio Lopez. I think he does a great job with layering the football and much more of an explosive play calling attack as we get an onside kick here.
Onside kick to start the second half. Special teams again playing a huge role in this game, and it's Richmond with the surprise and the positive play to start the second half. They build a little bit of momentum from the end of that first half into the second.
And that's a gutsy call by Russ Huesman, because you did not get the fake punt in the first quarter, so to come back with a onside kick, that's trusting your bunch.
You're just pulling out all the stops at this point in time. You're an FCS team trying to beat a Power 4 conference team on the road, and why not?
You're making sure 2 things there, making sure it goes 10 yards, and if it were not go to 10 yards, making sure North Carolina touches it first. That ball clearly went 10 yards. It's a great execution.
Blake Hauser on the recovery. Kendra Douglas is down on the field. Kendra?
Well, guys, talking with head coach Russ Huesman, he did say he's going to start with Kyle Wickersham, but he said that Ashton Snellsire is available and ready if he needs to move him in. As far as what he likes from this offense, he said, I want to see what they did towards the end going out of that half, and that's what he wants to see, churning more yards and getting this offense going.
So Wickersham at the helm here to start the second half, and it was Snellsire who came in, if you're just joining us, late in that first half in the second quarter and guided them down on their only scoring drive. Wickersham to throw. Has a receiver right at midfield. That's Javion Griffin.
Wickersham's pass complete.
There was a quarterback change, but I think they found something too with a schematic deal as well. Formations utilizing 2 different running backs, shifting and motioning them as well. Like Kendra said, they're both going to stay ready. Wickersham's the leader of this team, though. Played a lot of football for them and adds that running element. But I thought Snellsire showed some good things in the passing game.
3rd down at 6. Wickersham to pass. Receiver open. Big hit after he makes the catch. And he's going to be just shy. Tamori House over the boom on the receiver. He's going to be about a yard shy of the first down.
Russ Huesman had the same decision in the first drive of the game, a slant route that was right at the chains. That time he elected to punt it because he was not as far down the field. This time he's on the plus side of the territory, 45-yard line. I agree with the call. Got to go for it. Your plus side, you're down in this ball game. You just stole a possession with the onside kick. Now you got to cash in.
Now Andrew King in the backfield. Fake it to a Wickersham. Lowers his shoulder, and that 260-pound frame pushes forward for 3 yards and a first down.
That's why you have Wickersham in the game. That power read. They're going to read the defensive end. Their linebacker lined up as a defensive end, Andrew Simpson. He's upfield with the running back. That tells the quarterback to pull it. And he's going downhill, utilizing that frame, like you said, Chris.
Lost the fumble. Lost the football there momentarily, but fell right on it. First down. Again, the handoff to Creamer. He took a big hit. House again. Like getting hit by a house.
Andrew Simpson and Kamori House.
Again, Andrew Simpson, that linebacker spot. He's tracking this jet sweep, comes downhill. His buddy forces him inside. That's excellent team defense by the Tar Heels.
All great defenders will say the best tackle is when you go through the ball carrier. It's like you don't even feel it.
You don't even have to wrap up there.
I felt that's what Simpson did on that play. Foster Powell patiently waiting for the hole to open up. It does just momentarily, and he picks up 3.
Again, going to have that same decision. Sitting at 3rd and 5. Twice before they've gone with the slant route. You'd have to think again, this is probably 2-down territory for Russ Huesman. They loved their kicker in the offseason, but he ended up transferring to Maryland after spring ball, so they've had kicking issues in fall camp. Given that and the score of this game, I'd imagine it's 2-down or 4-down territory.
Wickersham goes to a receiver who's well covered, and he makes the catch. Flags down on the play, but what a catch by Dawson. You are absolutely right, young lady. That deserves a wow.
That reaction says it all.
Interference, defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, you're declining that. After that catch, Isaiah Dawson gets the catch.
He's fighting with Caleb Koss as we're seeing the hit on Wickersham. And then on the outside, excellent job by Isaiah Dawson, just fighting. Little slot fade route, runs through the grab there, and then just one-handed. Says, and 1.
First and goal. Trying to test the middle of that defense. King is able to churn for 4 yards. So again, see the end of that catch.
To track the football, go up with one-handed. You got 2 defenders there. That receiver, Isaiah Dawson, doesn't know if that safety's coming right through his chest, and he's going to get hit. That's an excellent job laying your body on the line with both guys barreling down right behind you to come up with a one-handed catch.
Coaching staff said without Jaden Fair available in this game, Dawson is going to have to play a much bigger role in that slot receiver, and he's doing just that today.
Yeah, been more of a gadget guy. I don't think he'll be much of that with catches like that.
King trying to get outside. No chance. Kamori House just ride him all the way to the sideline. And House is shaking up a little bit down there on the sideline.
Excellent run defense by the Tar Heels. Pursuing from the backside. Another one of those Washington transfers that came with Steve Belichick from his time at UW.
Thaddeus Dixon was the one who ended up injured. We'll take a break as good news for the Heels. Dixon runs off onto his own power. Richmond threatening here early in the second half. remind you about our games tonight. First at 7 o'clock, Virginia Tech hosting Old Dominion in Blacksburg. Then we got a trip out to Palo Alto. Boston College making the trip cross country to take on Stanford. Both games also available on the new ESPN app. Third down and goal for Richmond. Wickersham going to use the tailback as a lead blocker down toward the goal line. And as the pile continues to move around, he's just going to be a yard shy, even a little bit more than a yard. Looks like they'll mark it just outside of the 1 yard line.
This is what Kyle Wickersham gives you, an extra hat in the run game. Just a massive humanity right there at the goal line.
What are you doing here?
I think you got to go for it. Only so many possessions left. I mean, you're a yard and a half away, but man, it feels like everyone knows what's coming. Wickersham running the ball. If you had some wrinkle off of that to try to catch the defense sleeping, could break it out here.
It is Wickersham. He won't get there. Andrew Simpson again. What a game he's having for the Heels.
When you have all these receivers spread out wide, you had 3 receivers at the top of the screen, it allows guys off the edge to make an impact. You're seeing Simpson at the linebacker spot because there's no tight ends. Receivers are spread out. He can tuck in off the edge. Kind of surprised they didn't elect to have more of a true goal line formation to prevent the runoff from the outside linebackers.
Two linebackers have been outstanding today for North Carolina. Simpson and House. Simpson from Boise State. House coming from UW. Now North Carolina offensively with their backs in the shadow of their own goal post, and Gio will just run it forward and pick up a good 4 yards. Carolina's first offensive possession here in the second half. Lopez in the first half. 50% passing, over 104 yards, total yards.
Thought he was good. Went to the right places with the football. You know, there was a couple completions where that efficiency could be up, just slightly outside the hands of the receivers, but you can tell they're being much more aggressive offensively here. When you're backed up, it's about just getting the first down. Give your punter some room if it has to go to him.
Lopez, run pass option. He decides to tuck it and run. Donovan Hoylett does a nice job of tracking him down. He picks up 2. It'll bring up a big 3rd down here.
That's a nice job by Hoylett. The speed there at the defensive line spot. Former linebacker moved into defensive end. You can see the spatial awareness on a tackle like that.
Just a good look at Hoylett from Palm Beach, Florida. Defensive coordinator Justin Wood, he knows his defense can get off the field here, forcing a 3 and out and forcing Carolina to punt from their own end zone. That would be big.
Does he go pressure and trust his secondary and man coverage, or does he go coverage and trust his front foot forward to get some pressure?
Quickly out to a tight end, still with the ball in his hands. Jordan Owens making his first catch of the year. Trying to power his way through the defense. Wasn't able to do it. Yeah, Houston's fired up.
That was an excellent job by the corner to the top of that screen. He triggered right away. Got Devin Giramani on the outside. True freshman having to play corner because D'Angelo Stocker's out. The true freshman's used to playing safety. You can see some of those safety instincts showing up there.
McGinnis. Feeney won't be able to return this one, and McGinnis gets a nice bounce into Richmond territory. Spiders with the ball, their own 42. When we come back, they're trailing by 17. principle, Carolina dominated in all 3 phases in the first half, Max.
They wanted to get their quarterback, Gio Lopez, going, and right here he found Jordan Shipp for a big play early on. Good to get that receiver room going downfield in some of those explosive plays. And then towards the goal line, this was old school. Back-to-back I formations, and then they topped it off with a quarterback sneak. But then the defense has really been the calling card today. The impact of this front four, which you hadn't seen so far this season, has certainly showed out today. Linebacker room as well. Very much the front 7 holding it down. Defensive backfield's coming up big, and just a quality win all the way around. Quality day so far.
You see Steve Belichick's defensive numbers for his squad, and they need to have another performance like that here in this 3rd quarter, because Carolina just had their first 3 and out of the day, giving the ball right back to this Richmond offense.
It's good to see someone's holding down the cutoff hoodie look, even in the sunshine of September.
It's a family thing.
The sacks stick out too. Going into this game, only had 1 sack, nothing by the defensive line so far today. They've been playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Good start for this defense on this drive. 2nd down and 10. Wickersham in trouble. Oh, the ball comes free. And Carolina's got it. Abujide was the one who recovered the fumble. Wickersham was trying to get himself out of a jam, and he may have tried to do too much.
Yeah, that's one that he probably should have ate, but he's trying to make a play. It's been a long day in the pocket with this Tar Heel defense getting after him. Did a good job shaking the first 2 defenders. I didn't see who came in at the end, but just swarming. Pocket collapses in him, nowhere to go. All sorts of Tar Heels swarming. And it was ultimately Mekhi Bayer, number 4, I believe. Yep, the reserve linebacker getting in there, swatting it away. Coming up with a huge fumble.
Great field position for the Heels to start this drive. June got a big blocker in front of him, breaks free. Sidesteps another defender inside the 15. They'll mark it at the 16, 18 yards on the run.
We're wondering who their lead back was going to be heading into this game. I mean, they've very much leaned on Damon June. The patience there was great. You can see it right here. He's going to stretch to the right. Patience. Wait for those blocks to develop. Follow big 69, Chad Lindbergh, the center, and then the cutback. He's got that quick twitch ability.
Lopez fakes it to him. And that time, the receiver was not on the same page as he threw it right at Shipp's ankles.
The one thing for this offense, I mean, Omarion Hampton, first-round running back, he was very much their bell cow in recent years. Having to find someone to replace him has been a tall task. Damon June, again, only just a true freshman. This is a Carolina offense that had Drake May for a few years, the first-round offensive talent, and you lean on Omarion Hampton. In the new era post both those guys, trying to find their identity offensively.
June. Just 2. So it'll bring up a 3rd down. June will come to the sideline. Take a breather. Caleb Hood in the game.
2 favorite targets so far today have been Jordan Shipp and Jake Johnson, lined up in the slots at the top of the screen.
Hood empties the backfield. Lopez, design quarterback draw inside the 5. Loses the football, but he's going to be marked down before it comes out. Right at the 3-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal.
I love the play call. You put 4 receivers at the top of the screen, empty the box, and then it's Gio Lopez one-on-one with the safety. You can see the speed there. You can see why they're so excited about his mobility and wanted to make it a point of emphasis to try to unlock it today. Got the ball in the wrong hand. The running back want to have outside, have the ball towards the sideline, not the inside. For that very reason, the defender can get in there and swipe it away. He's lucky he wasn't down, because that could have been out the side of the end zone for a touchback.
Give it to June. Down to the 1. Peyton Sealman on the tackle.
Last time they were in this scenario, they went I formation, quarterback sneak. Let's see if they go back to that.
Mark him down to the 2, so gain of just a yard. Inside of 3 minutes to play in this third quarter. Again with the fullback Hood and Goss, the tailback. Hood, the lead blocker. Goss can't get outside. He may have even lost a yard.
Every time they've ran that I formation, there's been run through by the Richmond defensive line. They certainly have an opportunity if they wanted to bootleg and get Gio's legs going back the other side. That Richmond defense is flowing hard with that under center run action.
I'll mark it all the way back to the 4, so 3rd and goal after 2 plays inside the 5. Negative yardage. Now the lone setback is Caleb Hood. Gio fakes the end around. He's got 2 receivers wide open in the end zone. Flags are down, but Ship picks up another touchdown. That looks to me to be a hold against Richmond in the end zone, which will surely be declined.
Holding, defense number 20. Penalties declined. The result of the play is a down.
This is an excellent design. You get the defense rolling to their right, or offense's right. You leak Lopez out to the left, and then everyone forgets to defend Jordan Ship. A lot of moving pieces there. Jordan Ship with his 2nd touchdown catch of the day.
Verhoff splits the uprights, and the heels take advantage of the turnover. 27-6 our score. 27-3. Check it.
college football playoff begins December 19th and concludes with the national championship January 19th on ESPN.
Fairhoff with the kick, Dawson from his own 5. And turns it out to the 26. Tonight after BC and Stanford are late game on the ACC network. The Huddle is back. Final score. The crew's going to wrap up the whole day. Highlights, analysis, interviews. Players and coaches are going to be on the show. And got you covered on the ACC network and on that all-new ESPN app. So a full day, busy day of ACC football. We'll wrap things up on the Huddle final score.
Last 3 drives for Richmond. Last one before before halftime was a great drive. Drive all the way down the field, only get a field goal out of it. First drive of the second half, you drive all the way down, get nothing for it, and then the sack fumble there. They got to channel some of that long drive capability like they had to end the first half.
Snellsire is back in the quarterback. As they pick up 4 yards with Creamer. Snellsire led them on their only scoring drive of the game late in the first half. Little
got all up under the shoulder pads.
No harm, no foul.
He's got Hummel 71 trying to get a 15-yard penalty for his squad.
Snellsire mentioned he led him on that field goal drive. He only had the 1 passing attempt, which he completed. They did all their damage on the ground. Jamal Brown, who's now in that H-back spot, number 7, a big part of that. Fake to Creamer. Snellsire's going to keep it.
Snellsire with the keeper.
Instead of about a 3rd and 2.
Right there's the scenario where you'd probably rather have Wickersham, and then right here, passing-wise, both quarterbacks can do it. Russ Huesman likes both his signal callers. Maybe that's a passing-wise strength of Snellsire. 3rd downs haven't been pretty, though. 1 of 8. It's a big reason why is this Carolina defense, the front 4 and the impact that they've had. Not having to blitz to create pressure and havoc has been a luxury for the Tar Heels, and a big reason why they've been able to get off the field.
Final minute of this 3rd quarter. All kinds of movement up front. Flags come flying in. They're going to get a timeout.
Richmond. It'll be 30 seconds. It'll be their first of the half.
Yeah, timeout before the flags came in. So Richmond was able to pick up the timeout. Coach Huesman played at University of Tennessee Chattanooga when it was University of Tennessee Chattanooga. And he got into coaching as soon as his playing days were over. Was an assistant at South Carolina under Joe Morrison the year they had the Fire Ants defense. 1984, huge year in South Carolina football annals. Went on to be head coach at Chattanooga. Coached his son, who was an all-SoCon quarterback, now co-offensive coordinator of this club. A couple of stints here at Richmond. Was an assistant at William & Mary when he had all kinds of NFL head coaching talent at William & Mary. We'll get into that in a little bit. Here, he's got to pick up a big 3rd down, though. Snellsire to throw. Pressure up the middle. Got his man and a 1st down. Isaiah Dawson again shows how slippery he is in the open field. He picked up 9 yards, a lot of those after the catch. And they'll move the sticks as we wrap up this 3rd quarter. I would expect that fan base to be a little more excited than that.
That's the end of the 3rd quarter.
Now 27-3, but moving the football.
Timeout on the field.
Max Brown, Chris Cotter, Kendra Douglas with you here in Chapel Hill as we get set to start the fourth quarter. Kyle Wickersham, starting quarterback for Richmond, being taken into the locker room, so we'll keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, Snellside looking to hit a receiver down the left side. J5, Javion Griffin was the intended receiver. Got a flag down deep in the backfield.
Personal foul. Pass interference. Defense, number 9. 15-yard penalty. Correction, roughing the passer. Number 9, defense. Automatic first down.
Bujide with the roughing the passer.
Pass rush has been active all day. Ball's out. Man, that's bang bang. That's as tight as it gets.
A couple sacks on the day for Bujide. Fumble recovery as well, I believe. It's a tough call, though, going against him. First down for Richmond.
Wickersham going to the locker room. They're going to have to lean on Snellsire the rest of the way home.
And this running game. Give to Creamer. Gets maybe 3.
Nice job by Joseph Mapue, 25, defensive end from North Carolina. Squeezing it down.
Creamer didn't get a whole lot of run in that first half. He's seen a lot more action here in the second.
And Huseman's been going to the iPad a lot today. I don't know if I've seen a head coach go to the iPad more than him as a non-play calling head coach. One thing if you're calling plays. He's looking at fronts, evaluating his guys in the flow. Makes you think what he did before iPads were legal just a year ago.
Richmond again keeping it on the ground. Brown. Ball comes free though, picked up by North Carolina. No one will catch Bayer. He's going to score. 62 yards. Lakai Bayer, the Mizzou transfer. Just took it away from Brown and went the other way.
Ruling on the field was a fumble, recovered and returned for a touchdown by the defense.
It looked like he was all bottled up, and then you had Bayer squeaking out the other side, going back for 6. I believe the ball carrier was Jamal Brown on it. I don't know if he's stripped it and recovered it and scored. We'll see here. Yeah, they hand the ball off to Jamal Brown. And then, man, that's just a violent strip by Bayer. And he says house call. Question's going to be, is his knee down? Not seeing anything different there. Credit them. Turnover circuit. Always be trying to strip the football.
Verhoff converts the try. And Russ Huseman doesn't even look at the iPad after that play. It's a backbreaker.
And the Carolina defense showed up today. Front 7. Bayer's a backup linebacker. Secondaries come up with some big plays, all 3 levels.
Bayer looking for the oxygen there at the end of that run. He's used the short bursts. 62 yards to Pater. No chance of a return on this one. Verhoff kicks it right out of the back of the end zone. Next Saturday, the ACC Huddle crew will be down in Miami. And the Hurricanes, those their cross-state rival, the Florida Gators. Get you ready for week 4 with a 2-hour pregame show. It's going to include game previews, expert analysis, and featured stories. It starts at 10 a.m. right here on the ACC network and on the ESPN app.
Man, what a run Florida has here. You got LSU tonight in Death Valley. Then you go play your rival, Miami. Big window here for Billy Napier's staff.
No question about it. Richmond again trying to find that rhythm on the ground that they had success with in the second quarter, but nothing much doing here in the second half. Yamato on the tackle. Transfer from Oklahoma State. 2nd down and 8. I feel like I've been saying 2nd down and 8 all game long for Richmond.
Run defense has been stout. Last week only gave up 21 yards rushing. Carried over that blueprint today versus a rushing first attack in these Richmond Spiders.
That time the quarterback kept it, Snellsire. Amato again on the tackle, 2 straight plays.
You've been saying 3rd and 4 the whole day as well. 3rd and 5 the whole day as well.
3rd and 4 is actually better than what I've been saying for much of the day for Richmond.
I'm going to give him 3. It's a long 3. Coach Huseman's not wasting any time for the film review. It is immediate.
They almost threw it down. That would have been the end of the iPad for the rest of the day. It lives to play another down. This Richmond offense wants to do the same.
Timeout, Richmond, the 2nd of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
Wants to talk things over on this big 3rd down play for his offense, calling a timeout. We'll have it for you when we come back. 34-3, Eels on top. Has really stepped up today.
At all 3 levels, it really has. I mean, it started early on with Leroy Jackson, defensive tackle in the middle, then the pressure on the outside by Melkart Abujade. And the linebackers got involved as well. You saw Andrew Simpson right here getting involved in the box.
3rd down pass goes wanting. Tried to get it to Trey Mancuso. Quick strike from Snellsire was off the mark. There you see some of the numbers for this defense today.
George Belichick's got to be pleased. Both of them, son and father.
Yes, coach is Belichick, all three of them.
Pressure, the run defense, a lot of pass breakups, 2 fumbles as well, doing it in all categories.
There's Steve, DC, and linebackers coach on this Carolina team. Forcing the punt. Gray, the left footer, high and short. Cost makes the fair catch at the 38 after a 40-yard punt. On the offensive side, meanwhile, Gio Lopez continues his development.
And the explosiveness from this offense has popped, especially in this second half, getting his buddy Jordan Shipp involved. One of the few returning players, impact players on this Carolina squad from the Mac Brown era. Gio Lopez's legs have gotten involved as well, not just there on the QB sneak, but right here on the rollout. Nice design by offensive coordinator Freddie Kitchens. Jordan Shipp's second touchdown catch of the day.
June wiggles his way forward for about 3 on first down. Gio's numbers.
In some scenarios, you might think about, hey, this game's out of hand, take him out. But I think these reps are really valuable for him in the 4th quarter. Again, getting acclimated to a new scheme. Hasn't played a lot of snaps under Freddie Kitchens as his play caller. So these drives, just more reps before, this is the last. You got UCF out of conference, but outside of that, no more non-Power 4 opponents left on the schedule.
Lopez keeps it. Squirts through a hole on the right side, picks up about 4. Well, you're at UCF next week, so that's no cupcake on the road. Week off, Clemson, and then another week off. So it's an interesting schedule for them coming up. They'll certainly have time to kind of evaluate that first month of the season and the first month of really the Belichick era. As you see the schedule here the next 5 weeks coming up.
And Clemson's clearly their hardest game. I know Clemson lost today, but they avoid Georgia Tech, Louisville, Pitt, Miami as well. So to have your most difficult game sandwiched between 2 byes gives you extra time to prep and then extra time to recover as well.
False start. Offense number 73. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Will Osteen go through the infraction. They'll move back 5 yards.
And that point again, too, going into the season, North Carolina had the 6th easiest schedule in the country. Again, avoiding some of the top teams in the ACC. So if you can use a game like this to spark momentum and rattle off a couple wins, could lay a good foundation for year 1 with Bill Belichick.
Lopez, the quick throw. And again, he finds his tight end Johnson. Just enough to move the sticks.
Had success with that a few times today. Fake the run, snap it out there to your tight end, extended wide. I love that part of Gio Lopez's game. Like a middle infielder, turning the double play, getting the ball to his hands quickly.
Johnson coming into this game with just 1 catch on the year. It was a touchdown catch, but he's added to those numbers big time. Nice run that time and nice tackle. June almost broke free, was able to get about 7 with a touchdown saving tackle.
It's a nice block right there by tight end number 80, Jordan Owens, on the defensive tackle.
Tremaine Bullock just got him by the ankles, or he might be gone. Still a 7-yard gain on first down. Again, it's June, patiently working his blockers. Gets it to midfield, another first down.
To midfield.
Shadows getting long here at Kenan Stadium. I'm sure Bill Belichick would like this drive to be a long time-consuming drive as June's gone over 100 yards. First 100-yard game of his career in North Carolina. Heel fans hope it's the first of many.
Yeah, I think coming out of this game, he's emerged as their leading running back. I'm sure they'll still do the committee approach, but I think unlike 2 weeks ago, he's very much the main guy.
Gio keeps it himself. Towards the hip, falls forward, gets 5.
Out of bounds, right around the 45-yard line. Ball knocked him out of bounds. Second down.
One thing that stuck out to me is Damon June, the guy who's replacing Omarion Hampton, first-round pick, now with the Chargers. Last year had back-to-back years, 1,000 yards rushing after contact. Omarion Hampton had in back-to-back years. That is getting it done. June's hoping to follow that lead, but it also speaks to the big shoes he's having to replace.
Big hole at the middle, still on his feet, and he'll go.
Touchdown, Carolina! Damon June, 45 yards.
Right on cue. We were saying he's had a day over 100 yards. Let's add to that rushing total. He's got the lion's share of the carries today. Bigger back, seeing the burst right there.
Verhoff converts. What a day for June. 148 yards on the ground. Outgaining Richmond's entire team himself, putting the finishing touches on a beautiful day for the freshman.
Becoming an animal, all of its own, with an insatiable hunger. Moves just like a lightning bolt, racing the thunder. There is no competition, we live for this kind of business. It's a fight to the finish, always has been, always will be.
Here in Chapel Hill.
He's rocking the 12 in that picture. 35 today, a little number change, but he's been consistent, doing it in a bunch of different ways. Jet sweep game, behind the tackles, screen right there, showing he can do something with the ball in the pass game as well. The patience, the burst, the physicality for a young player, just a true freshman. And then right here, this is easy. Make that one man miss in the hole, and it's a house call for 6.
What a day for June. Clearly a career day at just his 3rd game. Dawson. Once again fails to get to the 20. Week 3 of the ACC Network continues tonight. We got 2 more games for you. First, coming up next, Virginia Tech hosting Old Dominion in Blacksburg. And then we've got a trip out to Palo Alto. Boston College is going to make the trip to take on Stanford. Both games available on the all-new ESPN app, so you can watch it anywhere. For somebody who played in Los Angeles and in Pittsburgh, That cross-nation trip. I mean, for the ACC, you think about it, trips to Cal and trips to Stanford, even when those teams are down, that's not an easy trip to make. You're totally out of your comfort zone, aren't you? And this is a North Carolina team that's going to have to make that trip out to Berkeley in 5 weeks.
Not at all. We did that a few times when I was at USC. Twice to Notre Dame, once to Boston College, once to Hawaii as well. You basically lose a day because you have to travel a whole day early, so your whole week's prep's off.
Picked off. Another turnover. That time it was Jaden Patterson getting some playing time and making the most of it. You can see how excited his teammates are about that.
He's just doing his job. Drops right under a little out route. Sophomore safety, like you said, making the most of his opportunity.
Result of the play is an interception. There is no foul for a late hit. It's first down, North Carolina.
You get it here. It's just a little out route. He's dropping into that hook curl zone. He's there the whole time. It's a poor decision by the quarterback, but Jaden Patterson's going to make him pay. That's been the most impressive thing about this North Carolina defense today. It hasn't been one guy, and it hasn't been one position group. Really been all 3 layers of the defense today.
Well, Torrey Newkirk is the quarterback, and he's going to give it right back. Intercepted by the Spiders. Jordan Allen, the veteran team captain of this defense, gets it right back. So the quarterback change for Carolina. They bring in the freshman Torrey Newkirk out of Norfolk, Virginia. And his first career passing attempt is an INT.
You're a young quarterback getting in the game. You probably pre-play the read in your mind. You get glued on one receiver and you lose track of a linebacker dropping underneath it. He'll learn from that. Obviously not the ideal start you want to a college career, but just a true freshman. Credit the Richmond D.
Spiders continue to try and pound it and work it on the ground. That's like Creamer once again. Defensive coordinator Justin Wood meeting with his defense on the sideline for Richmond. Midway through this 4th quarter. Virginia Tech and Old Dominion coming up next from Blacksburg. Old Dominion always seems to give Virginia Tech a little bit of a game. A big brother, little brother situation there in the Commonwealth. Good play by quarterback Snellsire.
One thing coming out of the meetings with Belichick and his staff, you're asking the question, right, what's the biggest difference between NFL and college? And I walked away thinking, you know what, the X's and O's, which a lot of the media makes out to be a big difference, really isn't. I mean, you're seeing the NFL game try to adopt a lot from the college game. The one difference that was glaring, and Bill said he saw it firsthand when he spent time with his son Steve up at the University of Washington last year, is just the development and growth that can happen over a short period of time in college. In the NFL, a lot of those guys are ready-made. In college, I mean, those 15 spring practices, you know, the 15 fall camp practices as well, you can get guys that can really develop, and you're having to adjust your standards accordingly.
King with a nice run. Just sticks again after 12 yards.
Steve Belichick, his son, last year was his first year at the college ranks after coaching under his pops in the NFL as a defensive coordinator at the University of Washington. And remember, that was his staff that was in the national championship a year before and lost a ton of guys to the NFL. I believe it was 12 different players drafted, or at least maybe wore an NFL jersey the next offseason. So he's used to the turnover, having to develop guys, having to go into the portal. And Steve was saying the adjustment in the college football calendar and getting acclimated to that after having a year under his belt was helpful.
Creamer on first down, picks up 5.
Speaking of differences too, one thing I found interesting, I alluded to this a couple times, but just how much different the kicking game is in the NFL. I don't think you necessarily truly appreciate that maybe sitting at home on your couch, but NFL punters and kickers, hearing it from Coach Belichick himself, I mean, you get to if you have a 50-yard field goal, you're expected to make that every time in the NFL. In college, that's people are jumping up and down if you hit that. Totally different approach when you're managing those scenarios around middle field.
Snellsire keeps it himself, and let's not forget too, Bill Belichick, known for a defensive wizard in his days with the Giants, working for Bill Parcells, but cut his teeth as a special teams coach.
Yep.
Early on in his career. First one.
We saw some of that today as well. Win the special teams battle.
Two kickers. Hunter McGinnis, Aussie. Nearest to us. Verhoff plays kicker, number 90. Third down for Richmond. Trying to keep this drive alive. Get some positive at the end of this game here in Chapel Hill. Snellsire, low snap. Trying to go down and get it. Now he's flushed. Got his receiver for a first down.
Pass complete along the sidelines.
That looked like it might have been Aiden Steinfeld, tight end.
An excellent catch by Steinfeld. Yeah.
Look at these guys.
Putting it high and away from the defender where only you guy can get it. I don't know if the route tree spacing's supposed to work that way, but Steinfeld's certainly taking advantage and taking advantage of the opportunity as well. We talked about it in the first quarter, but Sean Clark, their star tight end, they believe he could have been a all-conference level player. He's out the whole season with a lower leg injury, so they're going to count on Steinfeld the rest of the way.
Foster Powell. Picking up good yardage on first down, 5. Richmond will play VMI next.
Runs into a wall at the 33-yard line.
They'll get into conference play in their first year in the Patriot. Just football only for Richmond in the Patriot League. Coming from the Colonial.
Second down.
As Coach Hughes went about to move to the Patriot, just felt like there's a little more stability right there from a football perspective. It worked for him. And Foster Powell trying to bounce it outside. Nice job defensively. Matters continues to make plays here in this fourth quarter.
That's an excellent tackle by him too. Getting the legs of that ball carrier. If you're North Carolina, in terms of what you learn after this game, you have to feel really good about your defense. Again, all 3 levels. And then offensively, I thought Gio took a step today in terms of progressing through the passing game, unlocking those receivers. You found who your running back's going to be, that's for sure. Damon June, I'm sure, will be the bell cow moving forward. Receiver-wise, Jordan Shipp popped. Still curious about who that, receiver 3 is going to be for them, though.
First down for Richmond. They'll move the sticks again on this long time-consuming drive, and that takes us down to 2-minute timeout. 41-3. Heels on top. That dude knew he was going to be on camera, working the cymbals, celebrating the Heels up 41-3. We're not even close to being done yet as far as the ACC goes today. Coming up next on the ACC Network, we've got Old Dominion, Virginia Tech, and the Commonwealth. BC and Stanford late night out of the farm. And then Minnesota and Cal. That's an interesting game. Still to come in conference as well. Richmond and Snellsire trying to build something positive here in the final 2 minutes of this game. North Carolina defense, we've talked a lot about them, and for good reason today. It's been 13 years since the Heels have gone back-to-back games without allowing a touchdown, which they are just a minute and 40 seconds away from doing here after keeping Charlotte out of the end zone last week. So take that what you will from the schedule, but it's a defense that has to feel pretty good about themselves, putting up back-to-back 3 spots on the board, or allowing back-to-back 3 spots.
And you're going to put it the ability to respond too after getting blown out home in front of the whole college football world, giving up over 40 points to TCU. It's one thing to do the back-to-back 3 points, but then to do it after you got beat up week 1 is even more impressive.
That one dude with the red and the blue in the middle.
He wore
the one Richmond band guy.
They rented him from the Richmond band. He's rocking the hat. He's got both, repping both squads.
Spiders no give up as Creamer gets to the 11. Got a timeout on the board, and you see he just wants him to move.
He wants something good on that iPad to watch on the trip home. I don't blame him too. Playing a big-time opponent.
1 timeout on the board. The clock winding inside of 20. And now they'll call the time.
Timeout, Richmond.
We'll take it with them. Final 16 seconds of this one from Chapel Hill when we come back.
Timeout.
Final 16 seconds here from Chapel Hill. 41-3, North Carolina on top. Richmond calling their final timeout to try and set something up right here and get into the end zone for the first time this afternoon. It'll be 1st and 10, but with just 16 seconds to work with. And no timeouts remaining. Snellsire to throw to the end zone. He just overshoots his man.
Sideline's fired up. Looks like Reggie Love the second on coverage there. Good job knowing that with just 16 seconds left, if they're going to go to the air, they got to take a shot to the end zone. Strong coverage.
All smiles on that Carolina sideline. I mentioned it before, Lopez taking a step forward today. Snellsire again looking to throw to the end zone. Defended beautifully. Good play by Reggie Love.
And the sideline's fired up for their boy. Look at that. Getting fired up for the scout team guys. Those guys work just as hard, and they're fired up because of this technique right here. He's looking at the quarterback. Got the receiver in one hand. That's not pass interference. Bats the ball away with the other.
And going in to kick a field goal. Jay Nalszewski on 3rd down. It's good. Flags are down. Let's check the markers. That was bizarre. You have another down to play with. Try for the end zone again. What good's a field goal doing for you?
We're trying to get that kicker work. Again, struggles in the fall camp. Looking towards the Richmond sideline to see what Coach Huseman wants to do.
We'll wait on John Norris.
Personal foul. The result of the play was a touchdown. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. It's correction. It's a good field goal. Penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
So they'll take the points. And now it's 41-6. Well, we've got a moment. Let's share a story on Kendra here, because our sideline reporter, Kendra Douglas, a little bit of a homecoming for her this weekend here in North Carolina. She ran track for the Heels between 2013 and 2016. Finishing up the 400. She's got a baton in her hand here, though. Undoubtedly, look at her making the turn, running the anchor leg. Unquestionably about that. Kendra, this had to be a pretty good week for you.
It really has. Like, I'm figuring out, can I still do it? Can I still run? Can I use this?
She still got it.
Oh yeah. I think I can. I could beat some of these guys out here, right? You know, like little run.
Just swap the baton for the clipboard. You're good to go.
There you go. There you go.
Mike is kind of like a baton there.
Yes.
Obviously, you have fond memories of your time here on the track team here. And when we were talking to coaches and whatnot, everybody on campus seems to know who you are.
Oh yeah, you guys. I made myself very well known here. I was so active with journalism and sports. I loved it here. It was great. So it's super cool to be back to be able to sideline my first game here at UNC.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, Kendra. Glad we were able to share that moment with you. Done a great job today, as Coach Belichick and this entire staff and this entire team, really. You said it before, much maligned after that TCU game, right? The whole Belichick era begins with a thud in week 1 against TCU, but all you can do is just go back to work, and they've done that these last couple of weeks. So with 6 seconds remaining, North Carolina will send their offense back onto the field. And again, the freshman, Tori Newkirk, will take this final snap. And the Heels will notch win number 2 on the season. And for Bill Belichick, his first win at home as head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Step in the right direction.
Very much so. Bill Belichick's got to be excited about the way that his bunch showed up today. Complete command. All three phases, too. Special teams early. Defense held it down, and then I thought the offense took some steps as well.
Two coaches who have a lot of respect for each other meet at midfield. Gio Lopez leading his team to the win here this afternoon.
Will be the key for this team moving forward into ACC play.
For Max Brown and Kendra Douglas, I'm Chris Connor saying so long from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Let's send you to Kelsey Riggs and the crew in the studio.
Starts with the man above. Start off there.